Hey guys, this is Zero, and today I have that video I promised, which is the top 10 guns I used with a suppressor. But in this I only have 7 because I wasn't able to find 10. Like, there's other guns that I do use as a suppressor, but they just aren't too good, and I didn't feel like including them. So this is where you guys come in, where you guys can suggest guns that I'd never used, or guns that I haven't reviewed yet, and you can suggest them in the comments and let me know. The first gun up on here is the AK-12, and this is one of the first guns to start off with, and in my opinion, one of the most accurate guns of the assault class. It has a 24 max, 18 minimum, typical for an assault rifle. Drop off starts at 8 meters, which is not point blank, but it's pretty close. Muzzle velocity with the suppressor is 340 meters per second. Again, pretty standard. I didn't find myself having to lead that much with it, but there are better guns out there, and this is pretty much a gun to get you started off. I wouldn't recommend putting a suppressor on it, but in close quarter situations, it can get the job done if you don't have anything else and you're just starting off the game. Not much else to say about it. If you like hardcore and you like to stay on target, this is probably a gun you're gonna want to use, but other than that, it's the first gun you get, and again, not really much else to say. I like the gun. Low recoil. You can aim at someone else's. You can aim at someone's head and pretty much expect to stay on target because it doesn't have that. The climb isn't that too major. Where the recoil is kind of like side to side recoil. Not like too major, but it's something to note. And the reason why I'm not adding in this is right now is because I get a pretty cool defib kill around here, and I'm quite proud of it. This is probably like one of my first defib kills. I was meant to revive someone else, but instead I end up defibbing someone to the face. That phase, let's adapt, keeps killing me, so I'm just like, not phase adapt, let's adapt. Keeps on killing me, so I'm just like, not gonna go back there. So, I'm just gonna talk over this till the next cut. I run over here, throw some grenades in there. I think I get a couple of markers, I don't remember. It's 3 in the morning, I'm kinda tired, and I'm recording this. Okay, so I go up here one last time before I die to him again. Yeah, he kills me, but then he died. And I was typing to him like phase adapt, like not phase. Why do I keep saying phase? Left adapt. I'm like, hey adapt, you're hacking like the last guy, which you will notice in the next clip. Is it in the next clip? I don't remember. If you watch the kill feed, I think you'll know what I mean. But I come up here, I see this guy's dead. I'm gonna res him. I notice him. Defib kill him. It's pretty funny. I'm quite proud of it actually. It's pretty funny. He got a kick out of it, so did I. So we're just gonna cut to the next clip. Okay, so this gun is the AK-5C. It's an all-kits weapon, but it's best to use in my opinion with the support class. And I like this a lot better than, in my opinion, I like this a lot better than the AK-12. I don't know what it is. It has a faster reload. I think it has a faster reload. Let me look at the Simfit stats for a second. Faster. Oh, I didn't say the last one. The AK-12 has a 3-second reload when it's empty, 2.5 seconds when there's no bullets in there. AK-5C has on the empty. It has a 2.35 second when there's bullets off of there, 1.85. So you can pretty much get back into the thick of the battle really fast. 24 max damage, 15.4, and the minimum damage, pretty typical, 5-shot kill. Nothing too spectacular. Where it starts to differ from the AK-12 is its rounds per minute. Fire rate is 650 rounds per minute, while the AK-5C is a 700 rounds per minute. Personally, that's the same drop-off meters. The drop-off ends a little further than the AK-5C. The AK-5C right now is better than the AK-12, which is kind of odd because the AK-12 is an assault rifle while the AK-5C is a carbine. It does have a lower a minimum drop, but with a suppressor, you really shouldn't be going for those long-range kills with any gun other than like a DMR. But yeah, it gets the job done. Pretty good weapon. I like it. It's the perfect gun to get you start off when you're just starting out. I certainly had a blast with it. You will have a blast with it. Nothing much else to say. Good, great gun, fast reload. Cons, probably. I don't think there's any cons to this weapon. 700 rounds per minute can get you in and out of thick of the combat. Pistol like a 93R Deagle can get you out of a sticky situation, and yeah. Oh, and that hacker I was talking about. Oh, never mind. It's not in this clip because I cut it right here. So let's go to the next gun. Okay, so for this gun, this is the M416. Pretty common. I like this gun because it's so versatile. More than the next gun I'm about to talk about. Actually, next gun after. Just forget what I just said. This is very versatile. Very well. It's a very good gun. I like it. Low recoil. That's why it's pretty much versatile. It's like one of the best guns in the game. With a like. Let me check Synthetic stats. With a 1.85 seconds, pretty much the same as the AK-5C, and no, not the AK-12. AK-5C and the M416 share the same max damage, which is 24, minimum damage 18 because it's assault rifle. Start off, drop off starts at 8 meters, just like the other two guns I talked about. Assault rifles drop off ends at around 55 meters, so this is when you're just start getting hit markers, and that's pretty far in game. Muzzle velocity when suppressed, 340 oh my god, I can't speak. 340 meters per second. AK-5C, I think I didn't mention this, has a 350 meters per second. Has a 750 rounds per minute. It's 50 rounds per minute faster than the AK-5C. And you'll notice in close quarters, you will outshoot AK-5C if you go up against it. Low recoil with a heavy barrel or a suppressor. Pretty much the same, I think. Looking at the spread, pretty much the same. If you're using this gun I use it with an angle, you're pretty much going to want to burst fire. You can hold down the mouse button 1 or trigger, and you can be pretty accurate. I like it. Pros, low recoil. Cons, I'd say the muzzle velocity for an assault rifle, it shoots pretty slow with a suppressor, but I guess that's how they had to balance it. Nothing much else to say. Really good gun. I recommend it if you passed AK-12 and you don't really like carbines because of their minimum damage. Great gun. I'll use it. Pretty amazing. I use it all the time, actually, to be honest, even though I try not to use assault rifles because they're pretty much all overpowered. Especially the AK. I'm not the AEK. Oh my god, it's late. Yeah, okay, so yeah. This is a great gun, recommend it. If you're trying to get those hard to get flanks, this is the gun to use because not only does it have the rounds per minute to deal with those enemies, also has a really fast reload at 1.85 seconds, same as the AK-5C. Personally, this gun has a lower recoil than the AK-5C in the terms of the vertical recoil. No, what am I saying? This has a higher recoil than the AK-5C in the terms of vertical recoil, but side-to-side recoil is pretty much the same. All you have to do is just pull down on the mouse button, but if you're on console, I know it's pretty hard, I've been there. You're just going to want to burst fire, which isn't a problem anyways. But let's go to the next gun, which is the MPX. Okay, so the MPX, which is pretty much the only gun you should be using if you assuming you have the premium Dragon's Teeth, or just, yeah. If you don't have the gun, you probably don't have premium, you don't have Dragon's Teeth, or if you're like me on PC, there aren't a lot of chain link servers. The way how I got this gun originally was I joined a Chinese server. I did what I had to do, get the links, and then left and got it. I'm sorry, but yeah. Okay, so the max damage on the MPX, where it starts to differ from the other 3 guns I already talked about, it has a 26 max damage, 13 minimum damage. The 26 max damage is like which I think in close quarters is the only gun that can 4-shot someone after the patch. Yeah, the minimum damage is brutal, 13 meters per second. Drop off starts at 12.5 meters, which is good, which is fine. It's more than the other 3 guns, which is like 8 meters. This is 12.5. It's okay. Drop off starts at around 50 meters. When I play with this gun online, it's good. It's amazing. Like, sometimes you forget where the meters actually starts to drop off because you can just burst fire them and kill them, and it's just amazing. Has rounds per minute of 850 rounds per minute, faster than all 3 of those other guns I said. Really nice. Muzzle velocity when suppressed is 270, which is painfully slow. So you're gonna have to do a bit of leading. Nothing too major, but in close quarters you don't really have to lead, but when someone's like at a distance, you're gonna wanna lead or just leave them alone and let someone else take care of it, or pull out your secondary, which should be a 93R or deagle when you're using it, because technically when using a suppressed gun weapon, you're gonna want a good pistol. Vice versa, if you have a good primary, you're gonna want to have I don't want to say a sucky pistol, but something where you can spam. So if you got like an AK, run out of bullets, switch it to like a MP443, spam that, get the kill. Take cover, reload, you get the drill. Empty reload when you have no ammo left. It's 2.7 seconds, which is on the long side. But you can get through it if you switch to your pistol, clean up those rest of those guys. When you have like 1 bullet left in the chamber, it's 2.1 seconds. Not the fastest, but also not the slowest. Nothing else to say about this. It's pretty amazing for what it is, but let's talk about the next gun. Alright, the Scourge. My opinion, one of the best guns in the game if you manage to control that recoil. Okay, so the max damage on the Scourge is 33 damage. It's still a 5-shot kill after the patch. The minimum damage is 24, so you could just 4-shot people. No, not 4-shot, 5-shot people at any ranges, assuming you can manage that recoil. That's why I think it's one of the best guns in the game, because you can 4-shot someone, not 4-shot, oh my god, 5-shot someone at any distance, assuming you can have the ammo for it, and assuming you have the accuracy for it. Typically, I like to use an angled or a stubby grip. I used to use an angled foregrip with the suppressor, but I found the recoil a little too predictable. And when I say a little too unpredictable, I mean at ranges when I'm trying to like let's say double burst fire, so you fire 2 bullets and then yeah, it just used to bounce a lot. So I find with the stubby, I can control that a bit more, but either grip is fine. Angled or stubby, they all perform just as good, but I like the stubby a bit more. I can control it a bit better than the angled. Typically the angled is for like tap firing, which can be good for long ranges, but I don't like to tap fire at long ranges. I like to let 2-round burst them. Okay, so muzzle velocity when suppressed is 300 meters per second, which is slower than, not slower than the MPX, but it's slower than the M4, AK-5C, and the AK-12, because those 3 weapons I just mentioned has like a 340 meters per second. When you have no ammo left, 2.4 seconds. If you have 1 bullet left in the chamber, 1.9 seconds. 2.4 seconds is not long. It's certainly faster than the MPX, and 1.9 seconds is quick enough to get you back into the action, but you may get caught sometimes. It might be wise to have a trusted pistol. Really nice weapon. I recommend it really a lot. I always use this gun. If you get a headshot, you can pretty much 4-shot someone, close quarters or long range. The reason why it's 3, if you're thinking, oh, well, if it's a 5-shot kill at all ranges, what's the difference? 33 damage. Well, if they take any sort of damage, you can 4-shot them, and then assuming you get a headshot, you can 3-shot them or 2-shot them in most cases. I like this gun, one of my favorite guns in the game. I'm ashamed that in hardline it's so underpowered. I don't have hardline, but based on the reviews I've seen, pretty amazing. Pretty bad Rambo revive right there, but nothing much else to say. It's a good gun. If you're just starting out, this is a gun to certainly get you started with your ammo, with your accuracy, because this gun favors accuracy over twitch shooting is what I meant to say. Let's talk about the next gun, which is a UMP. Okay, so the UMP. You might be thinking, I said with the MPX, if you have the MPX, it's the only gun you should be using. But the UMP is, like I said in the last MPX, not everybody has DLC, or in most cases, if you're on PC, not everyone has access to the Dragon's Teeth servers, or has the time to go into a chain link server, and on PC it's very limited. You have very limited on servers, it's hard to find things, and yeah. Personally, I don't know if I said this in the last MPX video, but I said that, I forgot what I said. I think I said that I had to go into a Chinese server or something like that. Yeah. Okay, so the UMP shares the same damage model as the Scar H, where it has a 33 max and 24 minimum. 4-shot kill at any range, assuming you can control the recoil. You shoot first, because this is how you gotta have to use this weapon. Actually, well, no, I was looking at the wrong stats. Sorry. Max damage is 33, minimum damage is 15.4. It's really late. I'm sorry. 15.4 minimum. It's not the best. You know, close quarters you can 5-shot someone. Minimum damage, minimum range is like 15.4. I have killed people at that minimum, which is the sorry guys. Drop off starts at 8 meters. Drop off ends at 40 meters, which is a bit slower than the MPX, which is 50 meters. But it's nothing too major, because at that ranges you should not be even attempting to kill them at that ranges. Fire rate is 600 rounds per minute, painfully slow, slower than Scar H, but it just has something. It has a low recoil. The recoil up is like 0.4, and then recoil left and right is 0.18, which is a very consistent recoil. You don't have to pull up, all you have to do is just burst fire and you should be golden. Nothing else to say about this gun. Nothing else to say. It does the job until you can unlock like the MPX. The reason why I say you should be using the MPX because personally all the others are just bad. I was thinking about including the PP2000, but the recoil is so hard to manage. It like bounces everywhere. It's just not that great. I don't recommend. The P90 you have to play the campaign to get, and in my opinion, 50 rounds and then have it crippled by the aim down sight is pretty bad negative in my opinion. I don't know why DICE decided to bounce the way they did, but they could have done it a bit better. Okay, so let's talk about the last gun, which is probably the best gun for an all-kits weapon. Actually, not the best. For recon. Best gun for recon and best gun for support. I know I didn't include an LMG, because LMGs are painfully slow, like the U100, which I might just do a Suppressor Master on, so keep a lookout for that one. Okay guys, so the last gun and probably the best gun to run with a suppressor, with the exception of the Scar H. This will come in a close tie with the Scar H. The Scar H is one of my favorite weapons. This comes a close tie with the Scar H, and the only reason I would say the Scar H is better is because the Scar H, you can control the recoil a lot better, but it's pretty much like this SG553. Let's look at the stats. 24 max, 50.4 minimum, pretty much standard for all carbine. Damage drop off starts at 8 meters, ends at 50 meters, has a fire rate of 830 rounds per minute. Muzzle velocity when suppressed is 320 meters per second. Your reload. It's late, man. Reload when you're empty is 2.65 seconds, which is really slow. You really should consider switching to your secondary if you get caught. 2.1 seconds, which is kinda I think it resembles MPX in some ways for reload speed. Recoil kicks a lot, like a 0.3 up, which is nothing too major, just pull down. But where you're gonna have to burst is where the left and right kick. With the left kick of 0.22 and the right kick of 0.42 is gonna kick a lot more to the right than the left. So you might just wanna burst fire. I run a stubby, but an angle might suffice. And yeah. The reason why I say this comes in close tie, it has a 830 rounds per minute, which is close to the ACWR, which has a 880 rounds per minute, which is one of my favorite weapons when I'm not using a suppressor. One of my favorite weapons, ACWR, low recoil, all you have to do is pull down with the ACWR. Same story with this, but with the left kick of like .44, it's pretty major. Like, it's pretty major. You notice it. You don't really notice it in my videos because I'm really good at like compensating for recoil on PC, but on console, when I used to use this gun on PS3 specifically, I had a hard time, and I basically just never used it. And the only guns I used was, don't remember, was it the AK-12 and the SCR because it's their low recoils, and I was able to just. Okay, guys, so I'm gonna try and give you the final verdict of the guns to use for each class, excluding recon because DMRs with suppressors hinders the performance. I don't recommend it. But okay, so for medic, if you're on PC, I'd consider using the Scar H, but if you have a hard time controlling the recoil if you're on console, the M416 or the AK-12 might be the better choice, but I'd rather go with the M416 and just burst fire with that on console rather than have to suffer with the painfully slow reload speed. Pretty much everything. Everything the AK-12 does wrong is what the M416 does right. And basically, just burst fire. If you really have a hard time burst fire, then use the AK-12 or the SCR, which I didn't review yet, but I might do a Suppressor Master, so keep a lookout for that. So for Engineer, UMP or MPX. If I'm gonna say the same thing I said with the last one, if you're on PC or console, I'm not trying to discriminate here. If you could control the recoil of the MPX, I'd recommend you use the MPX every single time. Don't even look at any other guns, because those guns are just not that great in my opinion. If you have a hard time controlling recoil on PC or console, UMP is okay if you're aiming for the head. Because the UMP has such a low recoil, you can't depend on it to aim to you can't depend on the gun to dramatically just rise to the head and get the headshot like the Scar H or any other gun, including the M416. You can just aim for the neck area, it'll rise to the head, and you'll get the headshot. This is the case with the AK-12 too. This is why I say this is how these guns are good for console players, because it has a low recoil and you can just aim at the head and it will pretty much stay there. Okay, so for the support, which is a hard choice, it is a real hard choice. I'm not even gonna say what I said about the others. The AK-5C is the best gun to use. I know I said back when I first started the series Suppressor Master, I said that the AK-12 and the AKU wasn't good choices. They're really good for breach and clear, but now that I've used majority of the guns with a suppressor, I can say that the AK-5C is a good choice. Like, it's a good balance between the close quarters and long range. The close quarters 700 rounds per minute. Let me check so I'm not just talking out of let's say where the sun doesn't shine. It has a 700 rounds per minute, 1.85 second reload, which is the same as the M416, and 0.5 seconds slower than the Scar H. Let me check. Yeah, 0.5 seconds slower than the Scar H. So the Scar H has a 1.9 second. The AK-5C is just one of the best. I wouldn't say. I know I said the SG553 is good, because if you can manage the SG553, use it. But the AK-5C is just no, the SG553, not the 5C. The AK-5C is just a good gun, and I recommend it. And I used it a lot after I made that video. I used it a lot. Got a good KD. I don't really focus on KD, but I got a good KD in games. I was always doing really well, and it's a good gun. And I would strongly recommend you use it for the support class. And you can use it for the engineer if you're having trouble with the drop-off distances. But the AK-5C is the best gun to control, the best gun for long range and close range. And I'd say the AK-5C comes in a close tie with the M416, and the SG-553 comes in a close, I wouldn't say a close tie, but the Scar Reach is better, but the SG-553 does not fall far behind. The AK-12 comes in a, I'd say a neck and neck with the MPX, because there's times when I can't do anything with the MPX and the AK-12, and there's times when I can just wreck everything with all the guns I've just stated. But I'm sorry for this really long video. I tried to condense it as much as I can, but I really wanted to talk about the pros and cons to each of these guns. And again, I'm going to apologize, sorry for the long video. I'm going to try and make more Suppressor Masters. Remember to, if you made it this far, say Suppressor is key if you made it to this far of the video. And don't forget to leave your gun recommendations in the comments, and I will try my best to do them. And if I do forget some guns, just say, hey, you forgot, I told you to do this gun, and or just repost them in the next video and I'll try to get to it. I'll leave this, if you don't know already the guns I've already completed, check the Suppressor Master playlist before you submit the new guns, because I hate seeing people post comments like, hey, do the AK for you. I've already done it, check the Suppressor Master. Hey, do an M416. Hey, I've already done it. Check the thing, Do the UMP45. Hey, check the Suppressor Master playlist. The next gun I'm going to try to do is the UMP9, which is equivalent to the UMP45. The difference is it has like a carbine type stats, and it shoots at like 600 or 700 rounds per minute. Don't remember, but I'm gonna try and do that next. But again, sorry for the long video. If you watch to the end of the video, say Suppressor's key. I think I've covered everything. Okay, so I might just put a clip in there where this is why I say like, hey, make sure you have a good secondary. But there's enough rambling. 25-minute video, really long. Sorry again. This is Level 0, and I'll catch you in the next one.